over a 22% population of minorities in the city, and we have well over 23% of persons with disabilities. And of that, 13% is the working age of 60 through 64. You know, and we're the worst county in the state in hiring a person with disabilities with a 70% unemployment rate. This city keeps taking community development block grant money and funneling it to elsewhere that other than what it's supposed to be really doing. It fails to audit the pilot programs and still give out big, huge, multi-million dollars worth of federal money and state money and county and city without any accountability or even jobs to the local city. We need to start addressing these issues, and we need to start moving forward. There is a process within the federal law that says we must have public hearings. We must have a project, goals, and outcomes of how we're going to achieve it. When you're saying you're going to have a 5% minority participation under your contracts, where do you come up with that figure? That's where an economic disparity study comes. There are over 16 different entities in this county that are required or mandated to have an economic disparity study. You pool the resources. You're looking at less than $14,000 per year for 3 years. You're going to come up with $600,000 to pay for an economic disparity study. $14,000, you can't even come up with $14,000 out of a budget of 1 year to set aside for this. You know, you need to start planning for the future and start planning what's going to happen with the jobs in the city. And not just delegating it to multimillionaires and developers and contractors that pay the Democratic Party for their political campaigns. Thank you.
Gary Brandt.
Harry Brand, taxpayer and resident of the city of Schenectady. Thank goodness for these editorials in the Gazette, because the city council doesn't make us aware of very much that goes on in this city publicly. According to this editorial, 98 at-fault accidents in the city of Schenectady last year. A city like Albany, a possible 12. 1 dozen compared to 98 at-fault accidents. I'd like to know what action the city council and the mayor are going to take this happening. The insurance company threatened to raise our fee, our rates by $1.5 million. You come to an agreement, the insurance company's going to give them training. Where the devil has this training been? And what action do you do to these people that are involved in accidents? Do you have a policy of a memo of discussion for a bad employee? A warning notice? Discharge without pay? What's going on here? I think you need to look after these city employees like you never did before. They need to live in this city. You wouldn't need all these surveillance cameras and pay for these hundreds of thousands of dollars and nobody to watch them. What the heck? How do you act here? I thought you had some intelligence. You vote because the union gave you $30,000? You're going to give the employees everything? Do they run the city or do you run the city? That's what I'd like to know. There's a lot of openness here, and we need some answers and we need some action. If a city employee doesn't want to live here, they should be here or be out.
That's right.
One or the other. And we wouldn't need all this nonsense. We wouldn't have all these dope houses and crack houses and people running the streets. You ever look and inspect these buildings? According to my knowledge, that fire station up on 3rd Avenue has never been completed. Take the lunch and go up there and sit in their kitchen and eat. I hope you don't get hurt by the ceiling falling on you. But this is no joke. This is serious. I think that everyone should be responsible, and the city council and the mayor, to inspect every piece of city property at least 3-4 times a year. And report on the condition of them, and get them fixed up or close them, whatever they need to do. But this waste of money with overtime, go into Saratoga County and buy big 4-wheel vehicles and give them a contract to it? What'd you do for our fire department? 2 years, no pay increase. You give the police department a salary increase. Where's your common sense? What do you think is going to happen when the next contract comes up for the fire department? We're going to get burned. They're going to set a fire under our rear end. And the taxpayers are suffocating with your increases in taxes and fees. Pretty soon the fees will be more than our taxes, the way you're going. We need to control this and get it reduced and get these employees in the city. No county, no place. The city of Schenectady. If they want our tax money, then let them live here.
Robert Romanowski.
Good evening, Madam Chair and City Council members. My name is Robert Romanowski. I live in the city of Schenectady. I come tonight to speak about the Woodlawn Preserve. I have been birding since the age of 13, and since that time I have been on hundreds of field trips with several of my birding organizations. Out of all these trips, the Pine Bush is one of my favorite spots due to its uniqueness. The Pine Bush was formed at the last ice age with receding glacial waters, leaving the sand deposits that allow for pine barrens and grasslands. This area is one of the largest of the 20 inland pine barrens in the world and is home to the federally endangered carnival butterfly. Carnival caterpillars feed only on the leaves of the wild woodland plant. They don't feed on the nectar of these plants. The pine, oak, and oak savannas and barrens allow for such vegetation. This area is also home to other unique flora and fauna. I was very excited to hear that the Pine Bush extended into Schenectady, called the Woodlawn Preserve. However, I was shocked to see the deteriorating condition of this preserve. So I was glad to hear that the City Council is adopting a management plan and rehabilitation of the Woodlawn Preserve, and a large number of volunteers and who are attempting to bring the area back to its former habitat. I hope that the city can find grants that will fund the rehabilitation of this area and legally designate it as a preserve not to be sold for private development. With everyone working together on this project, Schenectady can claim the Woodlawn Preserve is one of the few unique preserves in all the United States that will be drawn from around the capital district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Laura Romanowski.
Good evening, Madam Chair, City Council members. The last time I made a presentation, I talked about the lack of attention to Mount Pleasant. And at the end of that session, Ms. Berger, you mentioned that you welcome suggestions and or solutions to concerns facing residents of Schenectady. So my comments are basically to the residents of Schenectady, and I don't mean to offend anybody who's already doing some of these things, but as reminders. It would be nice if a group of people on each and every street came together to deal with problems facing them on their particular street. For instance, on 4th Avenue between Crane Street and Congress, we have worked with city officials to get the street and sidewalks paved. We've had an albatross of a building. I think some of you saw that was taken down, and hopefully something will replace that. So the transients are coming in there already. We stopped a frat house where 40 to 50 kids were parking all over, vomiting, defecating, yelling. This took quite a while, but we worked with the proper authorities and finally got rid of that. If your neighbor can't or won't break up the leaves, our streets are lined with maple trees, so we have tons of leaves. We do our neighbors. If they can't do their snow, we do that. If we see some garbage laying around, we do go around with a pooper scooper and pick that up. If we see somebody suspicious, we keep an eye on each other's homes. So what I'm saying is, in each street, it only takes sometimes a handful of people. We can bring some civility at least. And then, of course, working with all of our city officials, the code enforcement, garbage collecting. We had a vacant house, and somebody from outside was bringing 13 or 14 bags of garbage every week. We finally handled that. And if after numerous requests and nothing is resolved, then I guess there are other avenues to address. And I would like to say about the vacancy, I feel that Mr. Mujibran and Ms. Porterfield are both put their time and effort in their own way for the seat. I don't feel anybody else should be considered. That's my own feelings. Hamilton Hill and Mount Pleasant, we shouldn't have to keep coming here and asking for help. But means we don't have representation. I think both of these are real in need. I remember back in 2004, Hillary Clinton came to Union College, and I believe it was a $12 million grant that was supposedly for Hamilton Hill and Mount Pleasant. Unfortunately, Mr. Stratton and the Metroplex person took it and expanded this, and now it's in Erie Boulevard. So if you can't make a decision, I say get another seat, two more seats. Okay? Put Ms. Portfield and Mr. Mucheron in. That's my view.
Bonnie Chapman? No? Okay. Madam Chairs?
My name is Kevin Terrace. I live on Hamilton Hill. I talked to Ricky about the houses. The garbage on Hamilton Hill was getting on the rail. I asked Mr. Ricky to drive by and see. He said he used to live up there. I saw him go up there and look at it. I spotted him. It really made me feel good seeing Ricky up there. And I don't see any other counselors up on Hamilton Hill looking around about our problems up there. We do have a problem up there. Mrs. Brooker, you told me to talk to Carl Olson. I tried to talk to him. He don't want to talk to me about our problem. I spoke to a lot of people about the garbage on Hamilton. I got people to help out. All we need is the city workers' vehicles up there to clean it out. I can get the people up there on Hamilton Hill to clean it out. Mrs. Porterfield will help us out to help clean up the neighborhood. Please give us a chance to clean up Hamilton Hill. Thank you.
Tony Bonelli?
Tony Bonelli, all of you. Just to let the veterans and the exempts know that 1st of March is this Thursday. So if you haven't signed up for your veterans exemption, please get down to City Hall. Took me 3 years to get it, so let's get down to City Hall and sign up for it. And about this Erie Boulevard with these crossing lights, I feel for these people, but you know, people are crossing against the lights too. I mean, drivers are taking responsibility that they have to, when people are crossing against the lights, sometimes they don't even see them. That incident where that young lady got killed, that was bad. That was someone was off the wall. But I was coming up Erie Boulevard from GE one night, and I had to wait for the light on State Street. The traffic across from me was stopped, and the car in the right-hand lane was going to take a right-hand turn, and this person was crossing the street against the light, almost walked into that car. I mean, the person didn't see him. It was at night. It was an SUV next to him. And he didn't see the person crossing. So I mean, yes, I understand the lights have to be changed, but on the other hand, people have to obey the lights. If they don't obey them, they're not doing any good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonelli. Rayshawn Artis?
Rayshawn Artis, local contractor, and I live in the city. City contracts. This association, NYCC, I read an article last week when they were up there speaking. You guys are playing games with them. It's very simple. The contracts are there and there's minority participation involved. To tell them to try to get together and bid on the whole thing, I mean, I've been fighting this for a while, and not only in the city. And these are the same type, the feedback they were getting is the same stuff I've been getting for years, and it's not what needs to go on. It's very simple. We pay for our people who work up there and be our officers and make sure these people follow the guidelines and everything. They report directly to the mayor. I had a meeting when Stratton was the mayor, and it was quite straightforward to me. They answered to him. So if the mayor's not gonna do anything, then nothing can be done. If you don't give them the power to stop these jobs because people aren't in compliance, then it's gonna keep going on. If you guys don't ask the question, have they filled the minority participation before you vote on them getting the low bidder job? I don't care if they're low bidder, if they didn't fulfill the contract, why bother with it? You vote for, yeah, let's go with it. Whoever, at the time it was Stratton, now it's Gary. I mean, I voted for Gary. I believed if it was written down in paper, he would follow it. And you guys have it written down to say there's supposed to be minority participation. It's a good gesture, which you did, announcing the job, but all you have to do is ask that question before you vote. Did they fill the requirements for the minority participation? Thank you.
Joy Hall.
I'm Joy Hall, Schenectady. It's very true what some people have said tonight, that people are crossing against the lights, and we need to put up walk lights on Broadway, corner of Hampton Hill and Lark Street. Seniors are trying to get across the street, can't get across the street. Cars are racing like crazy. It's got to stop. We've got to fix up Landon Terrace, we got to fix up curbs, roads, and you got to fix up by the Schenectady Museum. It's got to be done. That street has got to be widened up. Because you got buses, everything, trucks coming over that way. It's got to be fixed. We can't have any more accidents in Schenectady. We've got to get this thing rolling now. That's it.
P.D. Boris. Mary Robinson.
Lori.
Lori, I'm sorry, Lori.
Good evening, Councilman. I have to tell you that the streets in Schenectady are trashy. Everywhere you go in Schenectady, you can find a whole pile of trash, and it's disgusting. You guys want to invite people from outside the community who want to live here in Schenectady? Clean it up. Thank you.
Hello. Deborah, she wanted me to speak with her. She wanted me to speak with her. I reiterate what she said. The streets are trashy. This is the worst I've ever seen it. It looks disgusting. And I also wanted to talk about the fact that for the Marion Porterfield and John position, I think that you should have two positions instead of having people fighting amongst themselves about that position. You need to just smooth it over, let the both of them sit up there, and call it a day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jean Jericho? Jericho. Sorry, Jean. Jericho.
Reverend Mayor Pro Tem, President of the Council, I'm not too good at public speaking, but I'll do my best. I'm Eugene Jericho, I live in Schenectady, and I lived here in Saratoga about 10 years ago. And I bought one of the dilapidated homes, paint peeling, etc. I thought it had to resemble appearance. And I'd like to see the same thing happen for many of the abandoned homes in the city of Schenectady. And I'm here